What up? So where we last left off, I had a different white van in front of me and it was down for the count. I wasn't sure if the transmission blew, if my axle popped out, if the shift linkage messed up, if the diff got messed up. I'm not sure exactly what happened, but my road trip to Georgia was postponed, maybe even canceled. As you guys saw, Mendy Imports was cool enough to pick me up all the way in deep Jersey. Then we trailed it all the way to some shop that Rob was cool with. And we bought a CRV front-wheel drive 1997 axle. I was hoping that would work. Unfortunately, it did not. So we ended up doing after the fact. Shout out to Mendy again. He drove to the Bronx with the axle to get it rebuilt at some famous shop. They did it within 30 minutes. Check out his video. I haven't even seen it yet. I'm looking forward to seeing exactly what adventure I have to go through. But they got the rebuild axle, went back to the shop that was working on the car. They put it in, and the car's back to normal. It's perfectly fine. Luckily, it wasn't that big of an L. I think in total, with tow and paying David, paying both shops, paying everything, it was maybe like a $7-ish, $800 L, which is annoying, but you know, life goes on. Luckily, the car didn't blow a transmission. Since then, I spoke to the owner. He said he still wants to buy the SMX, so we're going to be doing that road trip tomorrow. So it's going to be take 2. Hopefully, we can drive it all the way to Georgia in one piece. The only thing that sucks is that my main reason for doing this drive myself is that I love stopping at all these places. Like, I saw a couple comments saying I should get a truck and trailer, and like that would be a good idea, but first of all, I'm already very limited to parking, especially with a truck and trailer, so I couldn't imagine just leaving this on the street and everyone being okay with it. And in my opinion, one of the best parts about this whole importing YouTube process is buying a car, modifying it, and driving it if it's a reasonable distance. Like 14 hours is kind of long, but it's not the end of the world, and it's also an SMX. But for example, like one of my biggest accomplishments I feel like in this channel, in just life, forget YouTube even existed, is buying the Cappuccino from JDM Hawaii, shipping it to LA, and driving it all the way to New York, the long way too. I went all the way through Dallas to come all the way back up to Tennessee and went back to New York. Like for me, it's like I love having that under my belt. If anyone's like, oh, what's the longest someone has ever driven a K car? It's like, maybe it's not me, but at least I documented myself driving and breaking down twice at that. So yeah, David's actually going to meet with us later today. It's still in Connecticut. He's going to drive it down to me. We're going to swap cars. I'm currently in the Townbox, so I figured why not make a video on this sweet van. Because as you guys know, I once owned a Townbox. It wasn't a Townbox Wide. I had the K version, but this thing is sweet. Shout out to Josh. Shout out to Frank. He actually owns one of these as well. So I guess let's talk about this car. We'll do a 360 first. I think it looks good. I think the little fender flares and beefing it up a little bit, to me, it doesn't look as good as the one that I had. I'll show a picture on the screen right now. But it is still pretty much a K van. This one just happens to be a 1.1 liter. And instead of just having 4 seats, you have 2 additional ones back here. And to access them, we just put this back. That goes down, and then boom. And I'm sure it has legs somewhere. So you actually have to pull this out first and then put that down, and then it locks into place. And just like that, you have pretty much a 6-seater K van. Let's see what features we got in this bad boy. So power mirrors, which is nice. This would be where the fog light button is. This would be where the 4-wheel drive button is. This one's 2-wheel drive. It has 121,000 kilometers, which is like 70,000 miles. Starts right up, even on a very cold day. Heat and AC works. I know David really likes this Townbox. If he does, definitely a total coming soon. We love the 1.5 a total. Doubled in, not so much. But this one also has dual airbags, which is great. Power windows for the 2 fronts. Roll-up windows in the back. These seats go down flat, just like that. Got all the storage you need. I know he had his whole family back here, so space-wise, I definitely would say 2 adults can fit back here. You wouldn't be so comfortable just seeing how low the seat is, but back here with no problem. If we were driving somewhere, I wouldn't really mind it too much. When it comes to all the K car variants that are wides or juniors or pluses, these are great just for someone who wants a K size vehicle, but they just want a little more oomph. Like they want a little more. They love the fact that this goes up to 160, unlike 140 in other cars. And then it just deals with highway speeds a lot better. Like I was able to do 130 kilometers with no problem driving it home yesterday. Cool thing about this van too is that it has rear seat belts for the 2 passengers in the middle. And then it also has seat belts for the passenger on the 3rd row. One thing I'm a bit indifferent about is that the Townbox has 2 captain seats in the back. unlike the traditional Kei vans where this would just be a solid bench with an armrest in the middle. So when it comes to sleeping, let me know in the comments how you feel. You have this gap here. Unlike most JDM vans or Kei vans just in general, you can't really just lay down flat. You'll have to find something to cushion here. Or I guess if you're thin enough, you could kind of fit like this and it isn't the most uncomfortable. But once you lean over, you'll just fall into this hole. And it doesn't really make the best camper in my opinion, unless you put like a full like mat over this. I know when I had my Townbox, a lot of people love the Corvette style taillights. This with some rims, I actually don't really mind the hubcaps, but this with some rims would go very far. I know David was teasing about me throwing the teddy bears on here. I think the front end also looks like a bug. Like it reminds me of like a Frog or a Bug's Life movie. Love the white plate on there, it goes really nice. And I love the graphic. I'll get another 360 in the sun. But it has this chrome here, if you can see it. It looks really good. It's like very minimal, but just that, along with down here, I think really makes it look 1000% better. And then as far as the cabin goes, I want to say one of the biggest pros on the Kei Townbox, even this one, is I love how it's catered to the driver. So first of all, we have a step here, which just makes getting in and out a lot easier. And then even the way that this is positioned, on some of the Kei vans, it's just flat. Like for example, this would be all the way up. And the only way to get in would be to throw your foot here and then sit down. But with this one, because there's so much room, you can put the seat all the way back, which I have to say on the Kei Townbox, on this one's even a little wider because it doesn't have to fit the Kei class classifications. There's a ton of room for your driver and passenger, and still same for the two people back here. As far as the third row goes, I wouldn't say it's the most comfortable. I wouldn't want to have two adults back here for too long. So I'll put this seat all the way back so you guys can see what I mean. So this is fully back and this seat is in position. And look how much room you have. Door close, I want to say, you know, a hand's worth, so maybe 6 inches. And then just for measure, since I'm in here, let's see what it looks like all 3 rows. So my knees are touching. I'm 5'9", and just in general, this isn't the most comfortable seating position. You can see that my body is almost like this, is contoured for this seat. I think back here you can maybe put like a baby seat or just a young child and they'll fit fine, but someone 5'9", a full-size adult, I don't think would appreciate sitting back here for too long. But that's pretty much it as far as features and interior goes. I see a small sticker here that maybe suggests an oil change happened recently. So this car has 121,000 kilometers. Someone help me out on what this is. Maybe the oil change was at this point and the next one is here, 5,000 kilometers later. I just really have to learn this because in my opinion, this says 4/11/17, and I just don't think an oil change was, you know, almost 10 years ago. I don't think this was 8 years ago that this person got an oil change, but I know they do their years and months a little differently. Either way, if anyone is interested in this car, hit up Mendy Imports. I think he has it on a sale price right now for $8,000, which in my opinion is Kei car prices, and you're not getting a Kei car. You're getting a 1.3 liter, 3-row, 6-seat belt, 2-wheel drive, automatic, fun van that hauls too, like. Yeah, this thing is smooth. Like, getting in this made me miss my Townbox because mine was turbo. Maybe the getup was a little better, but in all reality, this is double the engine size. But it's such a comfortable, quiet, just good van. Like, I miss my Townbox. Shout out to the homie in around the DMV area who bought mine. Hopefully he's still dugging it out. But that was a great van. Like, that was a really good van, super comfortable. Shout out to Josh for selling it to me. That's why I traded it for the Cappuccino, if you guys remember. I was like, I'm really gonna trade my Cappuccino for a Kei van in cash, but it wasn't just a Kei van. It was a 4-cylinder turbo. I drove that thing everywhere. I had no issues. Like, that was such a good car. And like, this one just being a wide is essentially the same car, just more. Like, every wide and plus his car is just Kei car. I'll give you a little more. It's basically the newer Domingo. I know a lot of people want a Domingo because it's a little bigger than the Sandbar van they all love. This is just the Mitsubishi version of that. I gotta show you guys how much room I have for my legs right now too. Like, this is, I know, like, it's not a Kei van, but it pretty much is as far as space goes. And I have so much room. But I guess since there's no traffic, surprisingly, let's do a quick little top speed run. I know I gotta get some gas. Please save those comments. So at 60 miles per hour, we're around 3,500 on the RPMs. I would say that's pretty good. It has overdrive, it's a 4-speed. Cruising at these speeds at that. It doesn't have an armrest, which I feel like it would be great if it did. I don't think mine did either. They need to start making that standard, at least on the driver's side. I'm so used to it on the SMX, just chilling like this. Another cool thing about this Townbox Wide and Pajero Juniors and Jimny Wides and Wagoner Wides and things of that nature is that if your state is weird about registering K cars, you can still be essentially a K car but not have to worry about the whole registration issues. For example, like New York, where it's banned but it's not banned, you can buy this, for example, and you shouldn't have any issues registering at the DMV because it's not a K car. So you're still small and quirky and fit in with pretty much every other K van, but you don't have the same issues as far as registration goes, speed goes, space goes. So as much as I love K's the way, I also have a huge appreciation for all those style vehicles. Like one of my favorite cars that I want to get still to this day is a Wagoner Wide. Like after I drove Josh's, I'll show a clip right here, see if I still have it on my phone. But that thing had such an amazing sound that I cannot wait to get another one. They're just really hard to come by, especially stick. Like I don't really give a crap if it's a 4-wheel drive or not, but I have to get one of those. But now we actually have some space. And I'll get it up to 120, I guess. I'll just show you guys what I'm doing right now. So realistically, you're probably gonna be driving like this for the most part. So 90 kilometers an hour, 30, let's just go a little faster, 3,500 on the RPMs. Now, if you live maybe on the south where the speed limit's a bit higher, maybe you'll be cruising around here. So this is 62 miles per hour, still pretty much 3,500 on the RPMs, not much has changed. Now if you want to go faster, this is around 75. And I would say you can see we're 3,000 away from redline and we're comfortably going 75 miles per hour. The car isn't shaking. There's someone in front of me, so I have to slow down. But before I end this video, let's get one last 360. Just went to the gas station. Everyone kept saying the car looks brand new. Forgot to mention that. This thing is clean. Look at the sun hitting it. And you see that graphic, what I mean? The chrome there and there. It really makes it look good. 8,000 buckaroos if anyone's interested. It's on winter tires, which is nice. Got a fat back. Couple imperfections, but 25-year-old car. I'm never that guy. So yeah, thank you guys for watching. Catch you on the next one. Stay tuned for SMX road trip. That should be happening tomorrow. Actually, before I end this video, got the top box in the back. Check out the Alto. I gotta find a gas cap, sadly. I ordered one from a different model. Just praying for the best, if I'm being honest. And then I ordered a temperature sensor because my coolant gauge is just stuck at C. So I'm hoping with that it could fix it because I want to take this on a road trip. I think it'd be cool to drive this somewhere relatively far, maybe 5, 6, 7, 10, 15 hours, 30 hours. And if the frame holds up, then I completely change the narrative that this is a quote-unquote unsafe car and I shouldn't drive it. So I'm thinking about maybe doing that, hopefully somewhere warm where I can paint these calipers yellow because that needs to happen. And then we got to add a lot of livery on here prior to the road trip as well. But I'm in this video here. It's absolutely freezing. Shout out to Townbox. Shout out to David. Shout out to you guys. Peace.
Remember the name. This is way before the fame.